jump on a plane and head to Houston, get ready for the Rockets tomorrow. Our broadcast will start with the pregame show at 4. A tip-off from Houston will be at 5 with Rich Burke and Antonio Harvey on the call. Keep it tuned in to our flagship station, 620 Rip City Radio, where coming up next is the fifth quarter with Chris Burkhardt. The final score tonight from Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, the Thunder over your Portland Trailblazers, 111-109. For the captain, Rich Patterson, I'm Chad Doing. We'll talk with you tomorrow, Portland.
You've been listening to the Trailblazers postgame show on the Trailblazers Radio Network.
This has been Portland Trailblazers basketball. Wherever you may be, good night, everybody.
They want a foul. Brogdon has some timeouts. He got away with a double dribble or no? Is Billups trying to call timeout? He's right up on Brandon Schwab and he got teed up.
Yeah, he was actually out on the floor and he's still out on the floor. And that's going to be a double technical and he's headed to the showers.
Now you've got Scott Brooks out on the floor. Yeah. The Blazers incensed that they didn't get the timeout called.
Well, I don't know why the player didn't call it. Brogdon tried to dribble the basketball, and he had his back to Chauncey Billups, and Chauncey is pretty upset as the coaching staff is grabbing him. But two technicals have been called, both on head coach Chauncey Billups.
And that is how this one went down in Oklahoma City. The Thunder grabbing the 111-109 victory over the Portland Trailblazers in a game that will not go down without its fair share of controversy there. In the end, Blazers had a chance to basically win that game. That's what it was. And Chauncey wanted a timeout, and he was not granted one. Turnover. Blazers, double technicals. Well, not double technicals, two technicals on Chauncey Billups. Sent to the showers. Game over. Blazers fall. And that's it. That came at a point in the game with the Blazers right where they wanted to be. Right where they wanted to be. Portland has a 1-point lead. Boom, boom. Ball back to OKC. Game, set, match. Rough one with the way it went down there in that situation. After the double tech, again, it was 109-108. Two techs on Chauncey. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes to the line, misses the first one. Bangs in the second, 109-109. Oklahoma City ball. Jalen Williams hits the 18-foot jumper to get the lead, and the Blazers can't connect and execute on the final possession to get it going. And it's just unfortunate that one went down because the Blazers played one hell of a game. One hell of a game. After losing by 62 points the last time they were in OKC, a game in which they only scored, 39 points in the entire first half, the Blazers went into halftime with the lead in this one. I think everyone was waiting for the wheels to fall off. They didn't fall off. The Blazers had a chance to win this game. Frankly, should have won this game. But then you get that situation with 15 seconds left in the game where it just all unravels. And it's very interesting because you're already seeing the discourse on social. Oh, what's he supposed to, he's supposed to know better. He's behind the ref. He's never going to get that call. Baloney. It's baloney. You have 3 refs on the court. Every single one of them has reffed hundreds of games, and you understand that in those clutch situations, more often than not, a team is going to call a timeout. So when you know that, your ears are perked up and you're waiting to hear those times, you're waiting to look over, you're waiting to see, someone has an eye on him. Not to mention, it does appear that Malcolm Brogdon was trying to call a timeout too. Crazy. It's a crazy situation. So I'm not going to buy the whole, I didn't hear you calling for timeout, coach. No. You understand what's going to go down in those situations. You have to be prepared for it, right? And I think that the ref, regardless of the situations, the quick fire technical, crazy, right? And then for Chauncey to go out and plead his case and a second ref to very quickly, defensively, call tech number 2, I was just like, what's going on here? What's going on? To call those techs in those situations it's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm not here saying that, hey, that cost the game, that blah, blah, blah. Didn't. Maybe you could have had a bigger lead than 1 in that situation. But I don't think that situation was very good. Very good at all. If you want to join in on the conversation, call us, 503-248-0620, or head to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and you can join the conversation where they are all fired up right now. Getting this one going. Rick does ask, and this is, I was going to put this out here right now because everyone's been asking this. He asks, where's Travis? We had a person call during the game. Where's Travis? Michael Shacker said he was getting text messages. Why am I hearing Rich Burke on the radio? For those of you who didn't know, and in Paris, some of you don't, which is totally fine, Kevin Calabro did tweet before the game that he is at home dealing with COVID, and Lamar Hurd is sick as well. That's why they didn't do the game against the Lakers. I believe they're not on this trip. So Travis Demers and Michael Holton have pivoted to the TV side. They're filling in on TV. And Rich Burke, your voice of the Hillsboro Hops, along with Antonio Harvey, are doing the radio side. And then you have me on the 5th quarter because Chad is filling in on the Blazers broadcast show. So everybody, baby, the B team's in and we're rocking it. That's what's going on. So appreciate that question, Rick. You're not the only one with it, so hopefully you guys could sleep easy. Nothing's wrong. Travis just got a mini 3-game promotion. Good on him. It's always fun to go from the radio chair to the TV chair, but I feel for him because it's got to be so hard, like as the radio guy, to go from radio to TV, because on radio your job's to paint the picture, right? Like you don't have the image. So I have to speak in a way that paints the picture for you. On TV, you have the picture. So that's like I don't have to paint it as well anymore. So it's a much different game to call on TV versus in person. So kudos to Travis to getting a chance to do that. But there is your answer to where Travis is and where everyone else is. Hopefully KC and Lamar will get well soon. Go tweet at KC. Like I said, he tweeted before the game that he was dealing with COVID. He's at home and feeling better. Go show him your love and support, guys. You know what I love about Blazer fandom, though? Is you guys are so connected to your team and so entrenched that, like, creatures of habit, if one guy is missing from the broadcast, you're like, what's going on? What's going on? So it's kind of fun. I love it. It's really good. All right, let's look at this game, though, some of the questions. Obviously, the refs are crazy. That situation was totally weird, and we'll talk about that. You'll hear Chauncey Billups talk about it in a little bit as well as he chimes in and hear what he had to say after the game. He was a little salty, but good on him. I think he stopped himself short at least one time. Like, yeah, I'm done talking about it. It was that, like, I don't want to keep talking about it because if I continue to talk, my pocketbook's gonna feel just a little bit lighter, right? And there you go. That's what that was. You're also getting the comment here. don't stop talking about Jabari Walker, double Walker. Yeah. What a game from Jabari Walker. And he continues, fans, to be so darn impressive. And I've talked about this with Chad many a time. The fact that this guy comes in, second round pick, like he comes to Portland. We talked to guys in Colorado who covered him at the when he was a Buffalo. Said, hey, how's this guy going to get on the floor in the NBA? Defense. He's a dog on that end, and he has it, NBA style. If he can fix those other things, the offense, et cetera, he'll get on the floor. And he did that last year. You saw the glimmers, right? But then, man, I'm telling you, he looked good off the bench. But this role with him next to Jeremy Grant in that offensive unit, he looks good. He looks really good. And as that comment in the YouTube channel, 14 points, 13 rebounds, another double-double for him. He's been playing incredibly well. And also the fact that he cleans the glass so well helps mask the fact that, Jeremy Grant doesn't. I mean, Coach Billups even said as much the other day. I said, yeah, Jeremy's not great on the glass. So, yeah, there you go. That's a great game from him. A great game from Scoot Henderson as well, which we will get into with What's the Scoot in the next segment. But this is one of those games, fans. Again, it wasn't a blowout like the 24-pointer against the Lakers. But, like, even the Lakers game, after that game, I'm like, that game, what I liked was I saw a little bit of fight. And I liked what the young guys were doing, and I can take a loss like that. You don't want to lose that big. You want to play all 48. You want to be in there. But if they can continue to build on that, play well, you can take a loss like that. And this one, as much as it sucks, and as much as Chauncey doing the weird little technical thing and getting tossed, and the end of the game was a giant Riddler-esque question mark. These are games that you like as a fan, right? You're on the edge of your seat watching this team that nobody gave a chance walking into OKC almost take down the team with the second best record in the Western Conference. It's a good game. And a lot of that came on the back of their young guys. Like we said, Jabari Walker, a double-double. Anthony Simons, 17 points, 5 assists. Tamani Kamara didn't throw in the points, but he was active defensively, had 5 rebounds. I'll take that. Duop Reith, 10 points. Scoot Henderson had an extremely productive game. Again, 19 points, 7 assists. Got to love that. The result just didn't go their way. They were in a spot to do it, which is the frustrating part. They were right there, had a chance, and then whatever that last 15 seconds of action was happened. Ugh, frustrating. I get it. Again, if you want to join in on the conversation, 503-248-0620 or head to youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio, like, share, subscribe, join the conversation there. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll give you your shot of the night and What's the Scoot. If you're on hold, stay there because I'll take your calls when we come back from the commercial break. Chris Burkhardt here, filling in for the boss man, Chad Doing, on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. And why did our guy hang up? He does. He was the one who called and asked where Travis was, and he called like 3 times during the game. Was he crank? Was the guy? Was Dan cranky? Oh, gotcha. Good. You can hear me. My phone's on. Good job. My mic's on. Yeah, the caller was on there. It was Dan. He called. He got mad during the broadcast because Travis wasn't there. Turn my screen on. I'm talking to you. No, YouTube. I'm talking to you. He got mad because Travis wasn't there, and then he called, and then he hung up. I wanted to talk to him. Terrible. Turn my screen on, Shacker. I'm talking to YouTube on purpose. It only says we'll be right back. But I want to know where the caller is. Don't hang up on me. I want to talk. I want to have fun. There we go. Now my screen's on. Thank you. Yeah, YouTube chat. I want to know where Dan was. He called during the game. He asked where Travis was. I told him he was on TV. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Hangs up. And then he called. He wanted to talk about the Blazers. I said, hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to you. Then he hung up. Terrible. That's why I said it was terrible, guys. I want to talk to him. No.
Currency presents the 5th quarter shot of the night. Liberty Coin and Currency, the place to buy and sell your gold, silver, jewelry, and coins.
Follow a shot from Jalen Williams, and he hits from 15 to make it a 1-point game. Getting the quick 2. There's a 2.5 differential shot clock and game clock. Blazers leading it by 1.
That was a bad decision by the Oklahoma City Thunder because of the foul to give that the Blazers had.
And Brogdon double dribbled with it. They called a double dribble when it looked like they were trying to foul him.
And then did the referee follow that up with a tech?
Now there's a technical foul. Are you kidding me?
A double tech on Chauncey Billups and an ejection.
All right, welcome back in. Hot mic. I was trying to talk to YouTube during the commercial break, and I was talking about our caller, Dan. He was on the line, and I said, don't go anywhere. I'm going to pick you up. And then he went somewhere. He hung up. Didn't want to talk to me. Come on, Dan. Come on back. Come on. Talk to us. Have some fun. And I was trying to get Shacker, turn my mic on, and then Rick says Burke never makes a mistake. That's just a bald-faced lie. I make plenty of mistakes. I was told a long time ago by a teacher of mine, it's not about the mistakes you make, it's how you recover from them, right? So if you get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. I don't know. I got knocked down during the ice storm. Tell you what, I'm surprised I'm still here. I got knocked on my ASS. I about did a backflip. I was trying to be all smooth with the kids. I was telling them, I was like, we have these 3 steps up to my front door, okay? And they're all big steps. They're all like 3 feet wide. It's more like platforms. And I was sliding from one to the other. It was treacherous. And I was like, tell my kids, I'm like, watch what Dad does. Dad slides. And I slid down one, slid down the other, got going too fast, couldn't stop myself. Oh, I about did a backflip. Phew, boom, back on the ground. Fell down once. Got up once. So we're here. We're doing good. But thank you, you two, for indulging me there. And Dan, if you're still listening, call back. I want to talk to you. I want to get your takes. You were one of the people I was referring to, called in wanting to know where Travis was. On TV, man. On TV. Like I said, you guys are so awesome because you love your people. When one thing changes, it's just like, what? What's going on? What's going on? I don't like it. Now, what's the Scoot? Scoot had a great game, guys. Great game. 19 points, 7 assists. And there was a couple there in that first half especially. I was like, I know he gets a bad rap. I know people want more from him, but he was making some passes that I don't know if anyone else on the team can make. Right? He had one where he drove into the paint, drew the defense, smartly kicked it out for the open shot, That was good. And probably my favorite one of the game, where he kind of was going from right to left across the key and just did that double hand bounce pass to Jabari Walker. Boom, easy bucket. I mean, those are the type of things I want to see from him and continue to see from him as you move forward. The points, they'll come. The shot, I think it will come. It was there tonight. But, man, those passes, I think, are what's going to be the best part for him in the long run. Going to be absolutely incredible to watch that continue to grow as he does. All right, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 or youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, where you can hear me. Shacker, keep my screen on during the commercial break because I'm going to talk to the people, okay? But before we go to any more breaks, we have to head out to the phone lines because the man, the myth, the legend, Chad Doing is here. How you doing, Chad?
What's up, my brother? I want to give out these names so everyone's fully aware. Bill Kennedy, John Butler, and Brandon Schwab, the three NBA officials handling tonight's game in Oklahoma City between the Thunder and Trailblazers. What a joke. What a joke tonight, Burkhardt.
It absolutely was a joke. And over there at Studio C, I saw Tone talking about it and saying that was just a weird situation. So you were probably talking to him. I mean, what was your reaction when you saw that go down? Because like I said a second ago, Chad, don't give me the whole, Chauncey's coming from behind, the ref didn't see it or hear it. Every ref in the world knows that there is a very, very good chance that a timeout gets called in that situation. So you are aware that it's going to happen and ready for it.
Yeah, I think Chauncey made the perfect point during the postgame where it's like, hey, refs are well aware when teams have timeouts in that type of situation because you've got to be prepared and ready for when they call timeout to give that to them. And so this is one of those situations where I fully understand Billups' frustration. I believe, based on looking at the review, it looks like the contact was incidental. It's crazy. I would have lost my mind too. So it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. I'll say it again. There's got to be some different system set up for accountability with the NBA officials. I wish they were forced to meet with the media after games to answer questions and explain why they did what they did throughout the course of the game, because what we see are mistakes made on a regular basis. It doesn't appear to be any real accountability, and the mistakes continue, and you get situations like this. And what makes this game so frustrating is that that's a game with the Blazers up, by one with 25 seconds to go after the bucket. That's a game they should win, or at least have a timeout. They're going to get the foul call and get to the foul line, but it's a game they were in a position to win, and because of the poor officiating and the handling of that situation, they get screwed out of a game where they played really well against a great team on the road, and, that's going to be a tough one to overcome. That was brutal. I want more accountability, Burkhardt.
Yeah, absolutely. And you named the names there, and you named Bill Kennedy, and I actually found it interesting because most people maybe they don't know the name, but they know the face, and he's usually a pretty good referee. So I actually did notice that in this situation, and that's what stood out to me actually, was that it was not him who called either of those techs, and it's quite obvious he's like the senior ref in that situation, right? But the other two, extremely quick on the whistle.
Yeah, extremely quick on the whistle. And the one thing I did see is that that crew, because of their inexperience, it showed through because they didn't handle the situation properly at the end of the game. The part that drives me crazy is that you've got this billion-dollar league, and we see it in the NFL too, but you've got these billion-dollar leagues where you have these millionaire athletes, and they're out there playing a game of high-stakes sports, and yet you have these games being decided by officiating that's subpar. I'll never understand it, and I would imagine that now that wagering is legal pretty much across the entire country, and you get more people gambling on these games, that these type of situations are going to continue to raise eyebrows. But it's mind-blowing to me how they can continue to have these type of results with the officials. And what do you think about Billups' reaction? Do you think he made a mistake by getting the double tech in that situation, only up one with less than 30 seconds to play? Like, how do you read that?
I think it's a tough situation because I don't know how you're supposed to react. I mean, to not get the timeout in that situation is a little crazy. I can understand the tech at first because he's obviously way out on the court in the ref's face for a second. But like the second one was weird to me because he's walking towards the ref pleading his case, and it was the second ref who just quickly teed him up for tee number 2, like he thought Chauncey was coming to punch him in the side of the face or something. It's like you knew, as a referee, Chad, you understand that situation. And unless Chauncey's saying something completely outrageous and egregious, which I don't think he was, I think you have to let a coach at least vent their frustration if you put them in that situation.
Yeah, Tom Haberstroh after the game tweeted out, Chauncey tossed in the closing seconds after the refs wouldn't give him a timeout. John Butler and Brandon Schwab are two of the most inexperienced referees in the NBA working the same game. So there you have it. Two guys. You want to have one guy with inexperience working with a couple of experienced guys, that's fine. But you put two of those guys together on the road in a situation like this, and this is what you wind up with.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely ridiculous. But the positive here, Chad, man, is this team, Oklahoma City in the first matchup beat Portland, 134 to 91, right? And then in the second matchup, most people have wiped it from their brain, so I apologize for reminding you all that they lost by 62 points, right? So this game, to go in that building again and, bad call aside, almost knock off the second-best team in the Western Conference on their home floor. I know people give you and I we're just homers because we try to find the silver lining. Losing is terrible no matter how you paint it. I don't think so. This is the type of game I love because the team, top to bottom, they showed fight. They showed life. They played with a pulse.
Yeah, I agree. And, going into the game, most fans would have thought another blowout was coming because they had to play at Oklahoma City after the first two games. The Blazers overcame a slow start tonight. They erupted for 38 points in the second quarter to take control of the game. They stayed within striking distance. The Thunder went on that 8-0 run to close out the third, but the Blazers were right there to respond to start the fourth, and it was a back-and-forth type game. What I love about tonight was Anthony Simons was a big-time shot maker late in the game. Scoot Henderson had one of his better performances tonight throughout the season, 19 points and 7 assists. Jabari Walker, another double-double. There were multiple guys. Brogdon played well. Jeremy Grant played well, so multiple guys who contributed, and we saw teamwork, we saw good defense at times, we saw the effort and the desire to go out there and send a message. So even though the loss and the way it went down with the officiating was brutal, a lot of positives to take away because that's a really good team, a talented team, but the Blazers were game. And I think Chauncey was proud of his group for the way they competed tonight. But that's what makes it sting so much with the officiating gaffe is because the Blazers played so well. They put themselves in a position to win, and the effort throughout, especially after the slow start on the road in Oklahoma City, was very impressive.
Yeah, I want to know if we didn't hear Chauncey Billups or Malcolm Brogdon shows up on the last 2-minute report.
I can't wait to see the last 2-minute report. Morons. Absolute morons. You know they're going to call timeout, idiot. And you got Brogdon and Billups both calling for timeout, and it was clearly shown that they were looking for the timeout before he got tied up, and they blew it. They screwed him. I mean, this is as bad as the goaltending gaffe by Satan Foster back in the day, back in 2012. Morons.
Yes, it was a bad one. But I do have your ears, so I got to get your take. You were on radio today, but not for this. But man, what's your reaction to the second best team in the NBA parting ways with their head coach midway through the season?
Yeah, I was talking with Tone throughout the evening, Antonio Harvey, about this, where it doesn't surprise me, one, because clearly he was abrasive, and Tone said he knows Adrian Griffin and said he's known as kind of an abrasive guy. We all raised eyebrows when Terry Stotts resigned his position as an assistant to Griffin after that, showdown they had at practice. And it's like, wait a second, Terry Stotts doesn't like you? That's a problem because Terry Stotts is one of the nicest guys on the planet. And then I spoke with Ben early in the season, and he said it's not going well. They've already, dropped their initial defensive game plan, and they've changed it around because the vets were not happy with the production and the way that they were being utilized. So that's a sign of a problem. And then if you, like you mentioned, you have a guy that's, got one of the best teams in the NBA in his first year as coach, as getting his first experience gets blown out. I mean, as Tone put it, how much of an a-hole do you have to be to get fired with that record in year number one and get blown out the door, right? And that means, and not only that, but that means that both Dame and Giannis had to sign off on that. That tells you how bad he was.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And now you're seeing reports, TNT said so, CNN reporting, Some other outlets are refuting it at this point, but it sounds like things are possibly pretty close for Doc Rivers to swoop in and take over. Do you think that works out?
Well, the weird part about Doc is, like, of course, everyone here in Portland, we're all annoyed by Doc because he got into it with Stotts, and, you know, he yells all the time. And
forgot to circle CJ on the lineup, Terry.
That's right. Yeah. And so we don't like him because of that. And he whines, and, you know, I think his teams have often taken on his personality where they whine a lot. We saw that with the Clippers with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. He's won a championship. I think he's a good coach. I know that there are a lot of players around the league who respect him. I do know that he can grind on you after a while, but I think he's respected enough, and he's got a proven record of success in the NBA. So I'll say this: I don't know if he's the perfect match for that club, but he's obviously going to come in and do a lot better job than Adrian Griffin. And not only that, but if you have an opportunity, if you jump into the broadcast booth and you think you're done coaching, but you get a chance to coach Dame and Giannis and have a chance to jump right into a job where you could go out and win an NBA championship, how could you pass that up?
Right.
You can't.
No, absolutely. And I mean, and say what you will about Doc, but I don't know if there's a better coach available to jump in with any team mid-season. Right? Like, he can hit the ground running and know what to do. Like, you're seeing, I think Haynes reported that another name that's out there that they're talking to is Jeff Van Gundy. Like, Jeff Van Gundy hasn't coached in like 30 years. Bringing him in mid-season would be weird. Yeah.
I think Doc, you know, because he's not too far removed from the game, he'll be able to step in right away and do a good job. And you know, the bottom line is the players, I think they're going to be fine because they obviously wanted this to happen, and so now if you get a guy with Doc's experience, they'll be on board with it, and they'll play hard for him and know that at least, hey, this is a guy that knows how to get us to where we want to be, so let's go out there and get the job done. So I think it's a good move. I think it had to be done. I mean, I couldn't believe when Terry Stotts stepped down. That was a sign of trouble, and I think Giannis and Dame will be in a good position. I want Dame in the Eastern Conference. I'm pulling for the Bucks, so I want Dame to be in a good position. So if Doc's the guy, get it done.
Yep, that is true. All right, Chad, I'll let you go because you got to do this all again tomorrow. Right back, same place, same time. Blazers pregame show for you at 4:00 because I'll be filling in for you here at 2:30. I got a special guest joining me tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is
right.
Hey,
but by the way, don't be too good at the job because I don't want you taking my job, man. Come on.
I told you I don't
think about me when you're doing it.
I told you I don't want to take your job. I want to work with you.
Okay. I understand. All right, remember the names: Bill Kennedy, John Butler, and Brandon Schwab. Curse their names tonight, Rip City.
All right. Have a good one, Chad. All right, there you go. You got to listen to him. That when Chad tells you to do something, do it. So go curse their names. Even though I think Bill Kennedy is like kind of innocent here because, like I said, you could tell he was the tenured ref and he didn't blow the whistle. He was actually the one that came over and was like, "You got to get him off the court, guys." He was trying. I don't know. I don't think Bill Kennedy's that bad, but that whole situation was pretty terrible. Terrible situation. I get maybe one tech, man, but that double that's so quickly from not even the ref that he's yelling at. That's just like, whoa. What refs out here now got to protect our own? That's crazy. All right, going to take a quick little break here on the radio, but I'm going to keep the conversation going on YouTube because you know what? I can. We're going to have fun. We're going to do that. When we come back, we're going to hit you with the scoreboard report. Take a trip around the league and see how all the other teams fared tonight in the NBA. Chris Burkhardt here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Basketball Hall of Famer Dwayne Wade explores the lives and motivations of sports, music, and entertainment icons in his podcast, The Why with Dwayne Wade.
YouTube.
In each episode, he delves into the inspiration behind their greatness,
this time I didn't
reflects on his own career, and goes behind the curtain to get the stories you've never heard.
I'll put out an APB for him when we get back on radio.
There wasn't a lot of love there, I'd say.
Dan, call back.
We've never had a conversation to this point.
Listen to The Why with Dwayne Wade on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, what do we got in the YouTube chat here? Where are we going? Let's see. Did chat just say Peter Griffin? What I missed about Peter Griffin. Paul Allen stopped spending in the 2000s. Wasn't Paul Allen still around when Neil Olshey was offering Enes Kanter max deals and Hassan Whiteside max deals? Shout out Michael Shacker finding a picture of he got all the refs on the YouTube stream. Good job, Shacker. I gave him this new toy for broadcasting, and he just loves it. He just loves it. So let's see. We're seeing more people talk about Doc. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation. I think Doc is a good coach to come in midway through the year for a team like the Bucks, a team with championship aspirations, right? Like I said, everyone always throws Jeff Van Gundy in there, but he hasn't coached in eons. Nate McMillan was in there too. Nate McMillan would be interesting because Nate McMillan is still good defensively, I think. And I think with that team, he'd probably get them back playing the defense that they're used to. But, oh, man, offensively, that'd be just such a slow game for Dame and Giannis to play. Giannis likes to get going downhill. Dame's not super fast, but he does not like playing super slow either. I don't know if that works.
They have to be prepared for anything.
I don't know if that'd work.
They have to be physically and mentally prepared to work in any extreme. In unbelievably tight places,
let's see,
even upside down.
Said it was like
no idea
the ref was acting like in a movie.
Mathematics,
yeah, I commented. It was like in Little Nicky when Nicky's brother
pressure.
takes over the
Lives
ref's body and like everything,'s a foul.
Most don't make
that
the cut to
or
be an astronaut.
Crazy Nights,
or
like
an Apollo certified.
That's a technical foul.
That's what that was.
When you're wading through yuck that's
both
backed
Adam
up in
Sandler
your
movies,
shower,
by the way, so
or
he
your
must
furnace
really
is
have it
giving
out
you the
for
cold
refs
shoulder,
too. He always makes the
you
refs
want
look
certified technicians with the right
Buck
stuff.
should hire
Who can
Stotts,
fix
is what Rick says.
You want
There's
Apollo
history
Plumbing,
there,
heating, and
obviously.
cooling.
Right? He was head coach there for a while. People there still love him.
Your problem's going to be fixed right.
The Dame situation would be great.
And that's my brother Brandon.
Go
1
to
minute
Apollo
copy.
can fix anything.com.
The connection with Dame would be great, right? I mean, he'd get him back going offensively. I also think, I mean, when you have a defensive roster, Terry hasn't been that bad, right? Like, he had the Blazers up there in the top end when he had good defensive guys around him. So I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing possible. So yeah, maybe Stotts will go back. You never know. Does sound like it's Doc though. Trying to see any more reports confirming, but that's about 30 seconds left. Copy. Okay. But yeah. Doc Rivers couldn't even sit out a whole season. Look at him. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. He's like Ric Flair, always retiring and then coming back. Jeff Van Gundy wouldn't be the name, but I wouldn't mind seeing him back in the league. I liked him with the Knicks.
It's time for a fifth quarter scoreboard report powered by Columbia Heating and Cooling, raising your expectations of comfort.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here filling in for Chad Doing. Thanks to the YouTube chat who stuck around during that commercial break and let me talk to him. That's the perk of going to YouTube. Sometimes we'll cut to break there, but sometimes I'll just stay on and chat with you. So go over there, youtube.com, Rip City Radio. Like, share, subscribe, get in on the chats. All right, let's take a look around the NBA. One game in action right now in Los Angeles. The Lakers, the away team, playing the Clippers. LA, Clippers that is, up 83-75 with 8:30 left in the third quarter. D'Angelo Russell having another big game on the heels of his big game against the Blazers. 22 points and 6 assists to lead the Lakers. James Harden leading the Clippers with 22 points and 6 assists himself. In Indianapolis, the Nuggets beat the Pacers 114-109. Nikola Jokic, 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. Pascal Siakam still acclimating to the Rick Carlisle scheme in the Pacers' way of life, 16 points and 10 rebounds. Over at Barclays Center, just across the river from Madison Square Garden, the Knicks beat the in-town rival Nets 108-103. Julius Randle leading the way for New York with 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. For the Brooklyn Nets, it was Mikal Bridges with 36 points. In New Orleans, The Pelicans grabbed the 153-124 victory over the Jazz. High scoring, let me tell you what. Colin Sexton led the way for the Jazz with 22 points and 7 assists. C.J. McCollum led the Pelicans with 33 points. And in Oklahoma City, the Trailblazers 109, the Thunder 108. The referees 3. Blazers take the L, though. Scoot Henderson led the way, 19 points, 7 assists for the Blazers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. And that is your scoreboard report. Blazers do get to wipe this one from the memory banks and get right back to action tomorrow night, taking on the Houston Rockets. That should be another good performance, hopefully, for the Blazers. And on the backs of this one, maybe go get a dub because they kind of need it. They kind of need it. That's just a tough one to swallow, fans. You know, we talked about it already, but you go in, you're going up against a team that absolutely destroyed you last time you were in their house. A 62-point victory for the home team. That's despite the fact the fourth quarter in that game, the Blazers tied Oklahoma City 21-21. So you take the fourth quarter out of it, that means through 3 quarters they were outscored by 62 points. 62 points. That was the final margin of victory. And so to come in on this one and make this a 3-point game, 2-point game, marred by the crazy little end there, I thought this was a great game. A great game. All things considered. They could have won. They should have won. Would have won had someone noticed the timeout. But to just go in there and play that type of game against that team, a team that has made it difficult for a lot of teams in the NBA, especially you, I thought that was a good rebound for the team. I really did. And I thought it was a good performance all the way around, top to bottom. I don't think anyone in the lineup particularly looked terrible. I do think it's quite obvious that while he may have his lungs, DeAndre Ayton is rusty as all rust can be. And I know it's easy to pile on him because there's a lot of people that don't like him for some reason. But I mean, it's no different than Dame or CJ when they miss time. When you miss almost a month of basketball, it's going to take you a minute. Think about it twofold too, because not only did you miss a month of action, that's a month of action that all the people you're playing against had. So they are in game shape, ready to go, totally in a groove. So it'll take him a minute. You definitely need to see more performance out of him. I'd like to see him get more involved offensively. 7 rebounds is fine. That was second on the team. Would like to get more, though. He is your center. He is your big man. Kudos to Jabari Walker for pulling 13 of them down himself. But other than that, I mean, top to bottom, good game. 0 scoring from Tamani Kamara, but found other ways to impact the game. Duop Reith continues to be a very, very capable rotation big, which I love to see from him. Matisse Thybulle, another big game. I will say it's interesting with Duop Reith kind of emerging as a true backup center because Sean Hyken pointed this out, that if Time Lord, a.k.a. Robert Williams, were healthy, that it's probably clear that the Blazers would see him as a major future piece, right? As a rotation guy or other. But the injuries just make that a giant question mark. So if someone calls about him and is willing to give you an asset for him, you probably have to listen, right? And especially with the emergence of Duop Reith. I mean, Duop Reith is nowhere near the defensive center that Robert Williams is, but he is playing good ball. He is playing good ball. I'll give him that. So where that goes, I don't know. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the 5th quarter. If you want to chime in, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Victor, if you're out there listening, the YouTube chat's calling for you. Or you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there where everyone is giving their feelings on the game as well. When we come back, we'll head to the Coach's Corner here from Chauncey Billups. And as my wife likes me to say, we'll put a little bow on this show and get out of here because we got to do it all again tomorrow. Chris Burkhardt here filling in for Chad Doing on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, YouTube, what do you got for me? I need to change my name here. Rick says Genius by CB to get double text. Every time people say CB, I always think they're talking about me, and it throws me off every time. Yeah. It needs to be darkened up.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale,
it was Nerd Fever, but then they traded him. So people are like, we need to get rid of this.
That's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company,
you can't see
iHeartMedia
it
gives
because I made the new
marketers
graphics
access
to
to the audiences, influencers, and data you need
That's
to grow.
okay.
If you're a
I'll get a
marketer,
marker.
go to
We'll fill that out. We'll fix it.
iHeartResults.com.
Let's see. Rick wants to hear from Dr. Scott and Ralph. Okay. There you go. Put up Burke Fever again. That was me talking to Shacker. What else we got? Rick says Iron Claw is a 5 out of 5 out of 10. Oh, my gosh. Why? I want to go see that movie. If it's only a 5 out of 5, that's disappointing. It's a good story. I'll tell you that much. I don't know how the movie does it, but the story of the Von Erichs is wild. That family absolutely owned the state of Texas back when regional wrestling was a thing. And very unfortunate series of events struck that family. So it's a crazy. So I hope the movie's better than a 5.5. I got you. No Chris Von Erich. Okay. Kirk loved The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. Okay. Jeffrey, yes, I do watch Dark Side of the Ring.
If you are someone who experiences migraine attacks,
which I liked their episode on the Von Erich.
Everyday moments that matter.
Mom, come play with
The
me.
Chris Benoit one, I think, made me cry. That was that
miss.
two-parter was, oh my gosh.
Nurtec ODT, Rimegepant 75 milligrams orally disintegrating tablets, is the only medication proven to treat and prevent migraines all in one.
How long till we're back?
Giving you and your healthcare provider the power to control your migraine treatment.
Nurtec ODT is approved for the acute treatment of migraine attacks and preventative treatment of episodic migraine in adults.
Yeah, the Von Erich
Don't take
episode is
if
actually one of
allergic
my
to
favorite
Nurtec
episodes.
ODT.
Well done.
Allergic reactions can occur even days after using and include trouble
How
breathing,
about Raw to
rash, and
Netflix,
swelling
guys?
of the face, mouth, tongue, or throat. Most common side effects were nausea and indigestion stomach pain. For full prescribing information, call 1-833-4-NURTEC or visit nurtec.com.
Ask your healthcare provider about Nurtec today.
All right, it is now time for the Coach's Corner. So let's head down to Oklahoma City, over, down, and hear what Coach Billups had to say following this crazy end to the game in OKC.
You know, we got timeouts. Referees usually are prepared for that, you know, that instance, that situation. I'm at half court trying to call a timeout, you know. This is frustrating play. My guys play too hard for that, you know. It's a frustrating play.
So Malcolm's bringing it up. He tries to call timeout. You try to call timeout. They call double dribble instead. And then that's okay. I just want to make sure I have that correct. I guess other than that, how do you feel about the way you guys played, particularly in reference to kind of what happened the last time?
My guys played amazing. They took the challenge. Came in here, you know, saying all day that, you know, we need to go demand some respect, you know, based on the way that we've played against this team. They blew us out 62 a week and a half ago, and we said, listen, either you're going to roll or you're going to get rolled on. That's how this game works. And our guys, they rolled today. They played really good. They shared the ball. Defensively, I thought we did a really good job. We made them earn everything, you know, today, and I was proud of my team. And they didn't deserve for the game to end like that. So obviously, you know, I feel bad for putting us in that position, but also I got to stand up for my guys, you know, and it is what it is, and I'll do it every day of the week.
Yeah,
have to imagine that starting with Malcolm, everyone else behind him was on your side with that one. I'm sure you could feel their support.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, we are frustrated. You know, Malcolm should feel it just as frustrated. He was trying to call a timeout as well. You know, what else would you be trying to do in that situation? You know, it's a bang, bang, easy, simple play. You know, coaches at half court, out of my box, calling it. We don't. Man, I don't know. I'm done talking about it, man.
What did you think about your guys' last attempt?
I thought it was great. I thought Jonah Hurtu, my assistant coach, drew up a great play. Malcolm just kind of underthrew DA, but man, we got a great look on it. Guys executed it very well. I mean, that's a tough pass for a point guard to make with a 7-foot guy and Chet all over the ball. So, you know, I thought it was great. And even the shot that the kid Jalen Williams hit, it was just a tough shot. It was really good defense. I mean, the kid hit a big-time shot. I thought our defense was good, though.
It seemed like one of Scoot's better games, maybe. It seemed like really off the bench, but they gave you a lot, very few turnovers.
Yeah, Scoot was great off of the bench. Came and brought us a lot of life. You know, brought us that energy that he usually does. His pace was incredible. Attacking that basket was incredible. That's just kind of who he is. So he brought exactly what we needed him to bring today.
What did you think about you guys? I think we're down 13 in the first quarter, and then you really came on in the second half. What did you think about kind of that segment, particularly in the first half, where you guys were able to kind of fight back?
Well, we did. We got down 13, but it wasn't because of how we was playing. We was creating really good looks and just couldn't knock them down. I mean, time after time, we were getting the shots that we wanted. Couldn't knock them down. Obviously, that team is so hard to guard. They got so many guys that can hurt you, so they were scoring. We were getting good looks, but I said, let's just stay disciplined. You know, keep trying to create the same type of opportunities, and we did. Started knocking down. The bench came in, gave us a huge lift in that first end of the first quarter and the second quarter. Kept us in it, and I mean, it was just a ball game the whole way.
All right. Thank you.
And there you hear Chauncey Billups. Like I said, he did the whole, I'm done talking about it. That was I'm going to save my pocketbook because I don't like the situation. And if you go on social media right now, it's still the talk of the town. And it's interesting how that game unfolded. It's weird. It's weird. I as a referee, you know what's coming. You know, like, if I see a player get trapped like that, aren't you expecting fully a timeout? So you're looking for that just as much as you're looking for a foul? Like that would be like if I'm the home plate umpire and a guy steals home and I forget to call him out or safe. It's like, well, I was waiting for balls and strikes to come. Like I didn't know a guy would steal home base. I just didn't know. Doesn't happen that. It's a game. It could happen. You should be prepared for everything. As a referee, you should be prepared for a coach to call timeout in a 1-point game with 15 seconds left. Right? I'm not going crazy, am I? See, it seems pretty obvious. Does it not? Interesting. On the bright side, the Blazers just get to turn around and get the taste out of their mouth and hopefully get a win against the Rockets tomorrow. I'll be joined by a very special guest. You guys might remember the voice and the name from all the Hillsborough Hops games you watch. But Seth Hoyland's going to be joining me, going to co-host the show with me tomorrow. So I'll have another voice in here to get talking and talk about everything. Maybe we'll if Seth's listening, he better buff up on his wrestling news because I like to go down those rabbit holes. Everyone was talking about Dark Side of the Ring. Great documentary series, by the way. Which some people said tells a better story of the Von Erichs than the movie Iron Claw did. You know what movie I'm partial to, and it's not a technical. Well, full disclosure, everyone has guilty pleasures, right? So like Biodome is one of my favorite movies because it is so bad it's good, right? Like Biodome's great. But another one of those that I can't not watch every once in a while, Ready to Rumble. That movie was terrible. But at the same time, as a wrestling fan, it's just kind of so good, right? Like it led to David Arquette really winning the WCW championship. Like in real life, he won that thing. Vince Russo at his finest. Oh, Ready to Rumble. How about Ahmed Zappa's in that? And oh yeah, John Cena is an extra? Come on. Oh, man. It's squirrely. Yeah. Just because we're stuck in a bubble doesn't mean we can't cause any trouble. See?
David Arquette recently released a documentary where he did some real wrestling.
He does
20 years after.
Well, he does. He got such a bad rap for ruining wrestling that now he does indie wrestling. And that documentary, doesn't that cover, like, didn't he, like, almost die in the ring or something like that? Because he had a hardcore match or whatever.
Yeah, he went against some crazy hardcore match and bled like crazy.
Yeah.
Just to prove that he's a real wrestler.
Yeah, the other movie I'll watch every once in a while just to go old school is Beyond the Mat. That's a good one. Then you feel bad for Mick Foley's kids sitting ringside watching The Rock take like 30 unprotected chair shots to their dad's head. Oh, wrestling's great, though. I was at that Raw show. It was wonderful. Raw moving to Netflix in 2025. Tell you what, this is a real conversation we need to have, fans. Because think about this for a second. Monday Night Raw, billed as the longest-running weekly episodic television show in TV history, is moving from its cable spot to Netflix, which means it's going to go there. Might be commercial-free because it's on Netflix, which would be wonderful. But Raw moving to Netflix is big deal because you can't tell me if Netflix is going to get into the Raw game, the wrestling game, the sports entertainment game. That's just a testing of the water to see how they feel about getting other sports involved too. So interesting how that could work out with look at what happened with Bally Sports recently, right? So Bally just got acquired by Amazon, right? So all those teams that were on Bally Sports can now be watched via Prime. Believe how that one's going. Let's see what happens when Mick Foley I look over and saw Mick Foley comment, and we'll see what happens when Mick Foley comes to Netflix. We'll see what happens when Raw comes to Netflix and see what happens. Cable's on the way out until there's too many streaming services to purchase, and then everyone's like, it'd be really cool if they were all just in one spot. I could watch whatever. Also, someone mentioned Mick Foley's daughter. Her name's Noelle. Put some respect on Noelle Foley. Instagram famous now. But, yeah, wrestling, man, Netflix. So maybe by the year 2026, you're going to have to log into Netflix to watch your Trailblazers. Netflix is pretty good. It's a fun little app, right? Anyway, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter. You guys have been awesome. YouTube chat, thank you for tuning in. Get in on that if you aren't already. YouTube.com, type in Riv City Radio. It's a great way to jump in, join the conversation. Thanks to Jeff and Rick and Kirk and Han in King City, RC, and everyone else who chimed in. Josh, the Fritz. Can't scroll too far back. Chris was in there. Carrie, you guys are awesome. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Pre-game show starts at 2:30. Blazers pregame show follows that at 4, and then the Blazers tip off against the Houston Rockets at 5 o'clock right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio. Fans, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow.